a pretty good video for me to actually use. Um, so a little over a month ago, I was walking out a squat, and my left leg, my Robocop leg, almost completely hyperextended while walking it out. And since my Achilles surgery from years ago and lack of proper rehab post-surgery, I always knew I had some stability issues and muscular imbalances, but I just kept holding them off, and I kept pushing these issues to the back burner. Why? Well, the simple answer is that doing core and stability work solely is simply just not fun. Nobody likes to work on something that they're not good at, and it just didn't drive me to get to the gym. I know what and how I needed to do what I needed to do, but let's just face it, doing exercises to strengthen, muscular imbalances and stabilization, uh, it's just not as fun as, let's say, bodybuilding or powerlifting, or even just like, I don't know, bicep curls. So after this scare of buckling with 330 pounds on my back, I took that as a sign that I needed to tone it down. I needed to tone down the intensity significantly. So my plan moving forward was that on my rest days, I was going to incorporate a lot of single leg work, focusing in particular on balance, core, and of course stabilization. So everything was going good, and then about a week and a half into it, so I'm doing this about 3 times a week, and a week and a half into it, I don't think my body was ready for the stress load that I was putting on it. It could be something else, but this was my conclusion. So just as an FYI for you guys, when working on stabilization and endurance, or uh, stabilization and endurance, which is what I'm doing, it's recommended to be on the higher end of the rep range spectrum. So if you're doing two-legged work, let's say a ball squat, you're gonna do 12 to 20 repetitions. And then if you're doing single leg work, like a single leg step up, or let's say like a pistol squat, you're for strength, for stabilization and endurance, you want to go in the medium to lower rep range, so 6 to 10 reps. Again, these are just this is just a outline for what you need to do. Well, I was progressing so well in this part of stabilization and endurance phase that instead of gradually increasing the reps and then the weight, I did both at the same time. So basically, I didn't treat myself how I would treat a client, because it's me, bro. No, just talking about it now, it just sounds so ridiculous to me to do something like this. But my ego, it got the best of me, and I paid for it. So what happened from here is, at the end of one workout, I was walking back the dumbbells, and I felt like a strange pulling on my right side, right hip, right side of my core. Something like this has ever happened to you, you kind of know what I mean. It was painful, but I was done with the exercise, so all I needed to do at this point was put these weights back and go home and stretch. I took one more step and I almost collapsed right there on the gym floor. It's pretty embarrassing, so I had to try and play it off, but I actually quickly just dropped the weights and basically walked like an old man back to my gym bag. I threw a foam roller on the floor, and then I tried to roll out the pain, and that didn't do anything. I could barely even get back up. I couldn't even breathe correctly. It was unlike any kind of pain I've kind of had in the past. Um, this was actually some of the worst physical pain I've had in my life, other than ACL and Achilles tear. I couldn't breathe correctly. I was walking slow. It was excruciating to lay on my side or even on my back. Sitting down was out of the question. Like, I couldn't even sit down for like 2 days. The only time I felt good or decent was to slowly walk around and or just stand up. So basically my whole stabilization system was shot. It felt like it was non-existent. So that happened on a Friday. I ended up going to the chiropractor the following Tuesday because that's when they were open. And sure enough, my hips were completely out of alignment, and it really felt like it. It felt like my right leg was actually a little bit shorter. And my theory, which the chiro said could be a high possibility, is my left leg is the bad leg. So therefore, what I do is I overcompensate on that leg, and particularly on that glute, and I don't use my right glute enough while doing day-to-day activities, and of course that intensifies through exercise. So I highly believe that this is a situation because even now, when I do my stabilization work, my right leg is always harder to stabilize. So with that being said, I decided to take a break from powerlifting. Not necessarily the movements, but I was always aiming for a number and a date. So there's been a few powerlifting meets that have came up this year, and I've been wanting to compete in them. And it could be a coincidence, but every time I've been ready to peak for those particular weeks, or month or so leading up to it, I tend to pick up like a minor injury along the way. So I'm not necessarily quitting powerlifting. Yeah, I guess I lied a little bit in the title. But if you've been following me, throughout this past year, I've been running into like little injury after little injury, like hamstring, lower back, calf, upper back. So and now my hip. So taking it as a sign. What I'm gonna be doing now with my training as far as squats and deads go is periodizing my sets and rep schemes week by week. So for example, in this video that we're watching, I did 5 sets of 9 with 210 pounds. Following week I did 5 sets of 6, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to get into that too much. I'll show you a split on my on a separate video. So aside from